The person you are being an asshole to might just be the person you need to help you. 8 thought-provoking confessions from strangers of the internet. I'm 16 and I'm going to die at 32. I have a brain disease that gives me a 2% chance of living past 33, which means I'm halfway through my life. I've kept this a secret from my friends and only my family knows. It's weird. I came to terms with it when I was around 13 and am just living life as much as I can. I've done so much and been through so much because I want to experience everything, because I have less than half the life that everyone around me has. On top of this, I've lost many people in my life, including my girlfriend and mom, which gave me a weird perspective on how my life really doesn't matter because the world will go on. I think I'm going to write a book about it when I'm an adult and my criminal record gets wiped. The book would include everything from drugs, relationships, crimes, experiences, and day-to-day stories that I've been through. I drank hydrochloric acid in chemistry class in high school and now I can barely taste anything. This is one of the most stupid confessions you will ever read, hands down. I consumed hydrochloric acid on multiple occasions in chemistry class during high school. Why? Because I wanted to. I just wanted to know what hydrochloric acid tastes like. I would sneak hydrochloric acid to drink. I would drink some in class. I was an unstoppable force of pure consumption. It tastes pretty good, I'm not going to lie. That's why I did it multiple times. I actually really liked it. The first time I did it, I did a little splash, at least 5 milliliters, and lost some tactile sensation and sense of taste. The taste was fairly strong, but immediately fried my taste receptors and dulled out the sensation of taste. I could still taste it like a residual aftertaste. The tongue went numb on top a bit as well. The skin on the top of my tongue died and fell off in pretty much the same manner that one would experience from eating a couple bags of warhead candies. I always ate excessive quantities of lemons, limes and sour candies, but this was a considerably further extreme. My sense of taste is almost entirely gone. I did this probably 8 to 9 times throughout the class. This makes the total quantity of extremes of the pH scale that have damaged membranes in my mouth within the course of a couple months too, but the alkalinity accident is a story for another time. I'm glad I didn't end my life. I am 31 years old and have been actively or passively suicidal for over half of my life. My most recent bout of active ideation was about 4 years ago. The lead up to this point doesn't matter, but I found myself in preparation for my final step. I don't know what happened, but I stopped, walked upstairs and continued about my day. It was the weirdest disconnected feeling, but from that day, I haven't had any active ideations. Sometimes I'll have that call to the void while I'm driving or something of the like. Fast forward to yesterday. I was walking around the local park with my toddler. He loves to find big rocks and make volcano splashes in the lake at this park. We found a great rock that would make the perfect splash. It was too close to the edge of the pier where we were walking, so I told him to stand by a bench while I walked a few feet away to get it for him. Evidently he thought I was too close to the edge, so he screamed out, "Mommy, don't leave me. I need you." I immediately broke down. I can't stop tearing up about it. I don't even know how to finish this post. I guess I just needed to get this out of me. Somebody replied, "I feel this. This is basically me." Maybe a little more than half my life I was suicidal. I came dangerously close to doing it one time and I was shook afterwards. It took me a long time to process all of that. But my life changed and my suicidal state basically completely disappeared when 2 things happened. 1. I stopped being terrified of being homeless. It was amazing when I discovered how much of my near-constant suicidal state was rooted in this. This was a game changer for me. Long story short, I was afraid I was going to be homeless, so sure I would be, that I went on a huge research spree and simulated it for a while. In this process I learned it's not necessarily a death sentence. And I learned it's not something to be terrified of on a primal level. 2. I got a good job. It's honestly amazing how much getting a good job will turn your life around and change your perspective on things, drastically. I feel like I might have a fraction of a future now. Just the awful state we live in, this stupid society that messes you over again and again until you get one somehow. But now that I have a good job and I'm out of an abusive situation, I feel a constant level of background happiness I never experienced before. I feel safe and somewhat secure. It's incredible. As a child, life was basically a horror novel, honestly. But as an adult, I sometimes think how I would never have got to experience this if I didn't myself, and it blows my mind. I don't criticize my younger self, though. I was living a nightmare. I'm just glad by some miracle, things changed. And it wasn't drugs, religion or therapy that saved me. If anything, that made it worse or just did nothing at all. It was landing a good job and the fear of being homeless and dying on the streets from being stabbed or frozen to death being removed that did. It wasn't even hard work in the sense most people mean. Yes, it was hard, and it was genuine work when I went through homeless simulation. And that's what saved me. But no one means that when they say hard work. I love my stepfather. So I, 14 female to male transgender, have never had a father figure. My biological dad left my mom when I was born. Years later, when I was 4, my mom met my ex-stepdad, Jay. At first, he was cool. He was fun, good at art, and helped me with my math homework. Later, when my brother, L, 6 male, was born, his true colors showed. He got into substances, started favoring my brother over me, would always make comments on my weight when I went to the doctors, ignored me, and just overall became abusive. We eventually left him, but it left emotional scars. My mom, 36F, started dating more guys after my other brother, T, 2 male, was born. He has a different dad from me and L. Then she met my stepdad Zach, 32. At first, I was hesitant to go near him, but I eventually warmed up to him. He even calls me his child and not his stepchild, or girlfriend's kid. I get roughhousing with him, talk to him about things. While I'm not out as trans yet, he does support me being gay and is okay with my girlfriend who is mixed. My mom is against the whole mixed race relationship thing. When I'm old enough to get a car, he's going to show me how to change a tire, change the oil, and everything like that. I know I shouldn't be that happy about it, but I finally have someone who can show me how to do these handyman type things for when I move out. I finally have a father figure in my life. I don't get to talk much about this sort of thing because the topic almost never comes up, but I do generally love my stepdad. I interviewed a former bully for a lucrative job position. This is an extremely important post. If someone thinks that they might possibly need another person's help someday, maybe they shouldn't be an asshole today. The person you are being an asshole to might just be the person you need to help you. There was a girl that was a horrible bully in high school. I saw her torture many of my classmates, including my younger sister. Beating them up physically, challenging boys and girls to fight, threatening people to do stuff, etc. I was never directly her victim, although that was mostly because scrawny me was probably a waste of time for her. She ignored my existence throughout my first 2 years of high school, but then my sister and I transferred to another school farther away, and I did not see that bully again until the interview. I was a hiring manager at a startup biotech company and she was applying for a well-paying position. She walked in and saw I was the interviewer and she literally froze. I asked her ridiculously difficult technical questions that she fumbled and stammered over. At the end of the interview, I looked at her and said, "I'm sorry, you just don't have what it takes. I'm not going to be able to offer you the position. Normally we tell people we will get back to them in a few days, but I wanted to see the look on her face." She told me that she really needed this job, she had been out of work for 3 months already, and that she knew that if I just gave her a chance she could prove to me that she could do the work. I looked at her again and said, "I just can't set our company up for failure by hiring you. The interview is over." I then stood up and offered her my hand. She shook it and left. I saw as she sat in her car and cried for 10 minutes before she was calm enough to leave. I felt like I scored one for all the people who have been bullied that day. I'm really attracted to men who are shy and inexperienced. As a 21-year-old woman, I know that most men my age would be loath to admit inexperience to a girl. So I always felt a bit deviant for this, but there's nothing more attractive to me Knowing that a guy would trust me to properly take care of him, teach him, and treat him well, especially with something as intimate as relationships. I'm really down for that. So for all those less experienced men out there, it is not a bad thing or unattractive at all. Somebody replied, someone asked me recently how to deal with his insecurities about being with a more experienced woman because he was worried about performance and doing things right. I told him not to worry because the hottest thing is to just be a good listener, communicate and respond to what the woman likes and needs. An inexperienced man open to learning and listening to what the woman wants is so much hotter than an experienced man set in his ways that might not be as open to listening. Tomorrow I turn 26. Today, I was fired. I got fired today from a job I really loved. I'm not the best with money, and with the increase in income, my first salaried job, I spent recklessly. I have barely enough for rent today and my dog's dry food. I turn 26 tomorrow and this is probably the lowest I've ever felt. I haven't broken down yet, and it'll probably happen in a few hours when my girlfriend comes home and I have to tell her what's happened. I'm ashamed to call my parents and let them know I'll be asking for help with rent next month, and I know I'll have to hear them say that they knew moving for my girlfriend and a new job was a bad idea, and this is not surprising to them. In the meeting where they fired me, all I could say is that I tried really hard here, and it's true. I did. I have diagnosed ADHD, and experienced a 3-week lapse of my MEDS that led me to make poor administration decisions. I started with them, gained a lot of momentum and felt recognized in my career for the first time, and when I ran out of my medication, I couldn't handle as much as I could with it. I'm so mad at myself for not being more on top of it, and upset that I can't get another shot to make it work again. I turn 26 tomorrow. It feels like I'm supposed to have it together at least a little, and I don't know when I actually will. As a transgender man, I'm kind of envious of transgender women's transitions. I'd never say this to a trans woman because it would be super rude, but I see them transitioning and I feel so envious. Trans women are known to get thick heads of healthy hair through estrogen, even so much as to reverse balding completely. And again, good for them. But testosterone makes you lose hair on your head. Usually it takes around 6-ish years before hair loss kicks in, though hair loss isn't guaranteed, but mine kicked in while just 2.5 years on. I'm in my early 20s, I'm 5 feet tall, and I'm about to go bald. I'm going to look so odd. And then there's weight gain. This one could just be me because I've seen other trans guys lose weight while on testosterone. But man, did I ever gain weight when I started. I have chronic pain, so I can only exercise moderately too. But yeah, I've seen a lot of trans women lose weight on estrogen. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy about my shoulders getting bigger. I'm happy about my beard. I'm happier about my voice. Even if I'm a weird little ugly man, it still feels so nice that other people recognize me as a man. I have so much energy now, I don't feel suicidal anymore. There's all these good things that I definitely don't take for granted. I just kind of wish I could be hot. I see so many trans women get so excited because transitioning made them hot. And again, good for them. When they've spent all their life feeling wrong in your own body, it's amazing that they're able to feel attractive and happy. And I'm still happy that I get to look like a dude. It would just be nice to have that moment that everyone talks about. That moment where you look in the mirror and you can love yourself. I hope you enjoyed these confessions. What did you think of the people who wrote them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe if you want to be notified of my daily videos.